Hello, everyone. Today we are diving into Azure Entra ID, used to be called Azure Active Directory. It is a very powerful tool that helps organizations manage user identity and also control access to resources. Let's explore what makes it essential in modern cloud environment. Well, Azure Entra ID serves as a centralized platform for managing users, identities, and access. Here are some key features that make it stand out. SSO. It also stands for Single Sign-On. It allows users to access multiple applications or cloud services with just one set of credentials. That means the user can log into multiple, let's say, enterprise application, cloud services, or cloud resources using just one set of username or maybe password. Plus, remember, it can also be a passwordless way of authentication, can be a Face ID or a biometric thumbprint. But SSO stands for one set of credential can be used to log into multiple Azure cloud services. The next one is MFA, multi-factor authentication, which adds an extra layer of security by requiring multiple verification methods, such as code on your authenticator application or SMS, or maybe the code you receive via email, or maybe a phone call. The next component is RBAC, role-based access control, which ensures that users only have access to what they need based on the roles which are assigned to them. The next awesome capability is external identities, where Azure Entra ID can support managing guest users coming from a B2B, which is business-to-business relationship, or even a consumer-facing application, that is B2C, business-to-consumer connections. There's one more component, that is conditional access, which is sets of policies that control access based on the user location, device health, or the user sign-in risk levels, or even the user account risk level, and then there are many more conditions. In simple words, conditional access makes sure that the user can access resources if the conditions are met. Even if the user is the global admin, if the conditions are not right, even the global admin cannot access the resource. So yes, it is possible for even a global admin to lock itself out. Now let's break down the core functions of Entra ID. Let's start with authentication. Well, SSO simplifies the login to both cloud as well as on-premises applications. MFA will enhance the security during login. Passwordless authentication, like biometrics, which we already discussed, can offer even more secure way to access. All this can be used, and some more features can be used for a perfect and secure authentication. The next component is authorization. So there must be something in Entra ID which can control the authorization. The answer is yes. That is RBAC. RBAC will ensure that users get only the permission or privilege they need. How about conditional access, which can adjust the access level based on, let's say, user risk level, sign-in risk levels, location, or maybe, let's say, untrusted device, or even more conditions like that. Or maybe untrusted platform. Let's say you want to make sure that the user cannot access your resources if they are using Android or iOS devices. Only Windows should work. You can do that. Now, let's talk about user management. Well, Azure helps in user management as well. There are so many things you can do. The first one is user lifecycle management. Well, here, organization can automate the user account lifecycle itself, which involves the creation, updation, or even the removal of the user account itself. That is also called UPN, user principal name. The next component to manage users is self-service password reset. Well, this is another component where you can allow your users to securely manage their own password, which means if they forgot the password, they can change their own password without raising any tickets or calling your administrator. So help desk will not be involved here. The next is external identities. We already talked about it. So external identities help manage guest users and external customers. That's it. Now, some differences between Azure AD, please call it Entra ID, and on-premises AD, the old school Active Directory. Well, if we talk about the deployment, it's obvious that Entra ID is a cloud-based IAM solution, Identity and Access Management solution. Well, the other one is in the name, on-premises, the one we use to install on our servers and promote it to become our Active Directory. Then we have authentication. Well, Entra ID supports cloud application or SaaS apps as well. Well, on-prem AD is primarily used for Windows-based application, means the application which are running on premises. It can be a custom application as well. Now, authentication is done. Identity management. Well, Entra ID manages cloud identities. Here you might think that, hey, you can also sync your on-premise identities to Entra. But remember, once they are synced, they become the cloud identity as well. Even external or guest users which you invite are also cloud identities. On the other hand, the on-prem AD will manage on-prem identities. How about user access? Well, Entra ID is internet-based. So remote mobile access via internet or public domain is more likely to be used. Here, access within the corporate network is actually used, means your own local area network. It can be a wide area network as well, but the corporate must maintain their own network boundaries and the line of sights. How about integration? Well, Entra ID integrates with M365 and other Azure services as well, which simply means that Microsoft 365, which is another product, again a cloud product, can utilize Entra ID as an IAM solution, Identity and Access Management solution. Here, integrates with Windows servers, or you can say all the on-prem server compatible softwares or solutions, like the old school SCCM, SCOM SCOM, or DPS, or any on-prem server solution can integrate with on-prem AD. MFA and security. Well, Entra ID have built-in MFA and conditional access, where on-prem you can actually configure your MFA, but it may need additional tools or integration with some federation services. How about directory structure? Well, Entra ID is a simple, flat structure. On the other hand, on-prem AD follows a hierarchical structure. I hope the differences are clear. These are some simple differences between the old school AD and the new Entra ID. Now, we can move to the lab section where I will introduce you with Azure Entra, where we will explore some settings, how to create user, how to create a group, how to configure MFA, and more. All right, so let's explore Entra ID now. Basically, before you explore Entra ID, you need an Azure account. You can create Azure account via Azure portal, or you can also go to M365 or Microsoft 365 admin portal. Both places will work. I do already have my account, so I will just log into Azure portal now. To do that, just go to portal.azure.com and log in with your credentials. All right. Just give me a second. And here we go. So this is your Azure portal. Now, where will you find Entra ID? Basically, you can see it over here. It's in my recent menu. But if you don't see it, you can search for it. Just type Entra ID. By the way, you can also go to your menu page or blade, go to all services, and Entra ID will be in Identities. So this will be the category where you will find Entra ID and all identity management related tools. So that's your Entra ID. On the overview page, as you can see, you can add users, groups, enterprise applications. You can register them. Plus, you can also add multiple tenants. You can see your basic information that includes tenant ID. That is very critical. Plus, the license your organization or you are using. Maybe it will say free. In that case, you will not get all the benefits or all the features. Then on the left-hand side blade, if you click on Manage, you will see all the services or functionality Entra ID have to provide, which includes security, user settings, password reset for users, your custom domain if you want to register your company's name there, your hybrid infrastructure if you want to connect your on-premise infrastructure with your cloud or not. You can manage your licenses. You can manage your registered app, devices, enterprise application. Very important. That is your privileges, plus groups and users. So that will be your Entra ID managed tools. This is for monitoring. Here you can see all the logs. Maybe you want to gather the sign-in logs. Or you can also audit other activities, whether someone created a user, someone changed a password, someone requested for password change, or whatnot. And this is just to raise a ticket or to contact Microsoft to get help regarding any issues you're facing. So overall, this is your Entra ID. Everything starts from here. Hey, welcome back from the lab. I hope now you understand that how simple it is to actually work with Azure Portal. The nice GUI interface, the graphical interface, is quite user-friendly. So now we can summarize this episode. So to summarize, I will say Azure Entra ID is the key to manage identities and securing access in today's digital world, especially on cloud, but can also be done for on-prem. With SSO, MFA, and RBAC, it ensures that users can securely access resources while maintaining organizational control over them. That's it for today. I will catch you in the next episode. Take care.